Laila Ali fires back against Claressa Sheilds in what she says is a fake narrative that she has about her, and she brings in all the receipts.
There has been a whole lot of talk about the possibility of me making a comeback to boxing, and people have had a lot to say, but I have not addressed it until now. And I know everyone wants to know the answer to the question, will I be coming back? And I promise you, I'm going to give you that answer. But first, I have got to address the lies and the fake narrative that's been created years ago. Now, someone's gotten way too comfortable dragging my name and even using my father's name to get attention and clout. Now, in case you haven't heard it, her story is that I didn't support her and I didn't pass the torch because of my jealousy and envy over her accomplishments in boxing. She says that I disrespected her and I started talking about knocking her out simply because I was bitter that she's outdone me. I met her in 2012 when she was invited on stage to stand next to me when I gave my father his Liberty Medal. At some point, she reached out, started asking me for advice, wanted to know if she should go to the Olympics the second time or go pro. She would also call me and let me know when she was fighting. Now, at the time, I was one of the hosts of We Need to Talk, an all-female sports commentary show that still airs on CBS. I asked the producers if we could do a story on her. They agreed. So I got on a plane, flew to Colorado, and did a full sit-down interview with her. Now, this is just a shortened version of the 6-minute piece that aired on CBS. 21-year-old Claressa Sheilds is as confident as her right hand is powerful. Soon, Claressa will be heading to Rio for the Olympics to try and do something that has never been done before. I sat down to talk with her about changing history and being a positive spark for her hometown. You should have heard the story by now. I know that when I was fighting, any of my struggles that I had to overcome or anything that I was upset about, whether it be something personal or something going on in the world, I would use that anger, and take it into the ring with me and channel that energy into the ring. Have you ever done that?
I did that a lot. I was going through stuff back at home, but I would have a boxing match.
His father, a former underground fighter, was passionate about boxing.
He went on to tell me that Muhammad Ali, his daughter, Laila, took after him. And he's like, and my dad, he says to this day, Layla's a bad girl. He says all the time. He said, nobody in our family took up boxing. I thought when he told me that, he was telling me to take after him.
Claressa beat the odds to win gold in 2012. When the Olympics start in August, she'll try to be the first American boxer to win back-to-back gold medals. Gave her valuable branding advice and boxing advice so she could have long-term success in and outside of the ring. And I suggested that if she decided to turn pro, she should consider going down in weight, somewhere around 148, where she would have more competitive challenges. I told her she should hire a nutritionist, trim off that excess body fat, and get into elite next level shape. But of course, at the time, I was not aware of her divisive, vindictive, and malicious nature. And I know those are strong words, but they actually fit. This girl has created a pattern. It's been directed towards many people time and time again. Now, before we started our interview in Colorado, she said to me, "You're the name people say when it comes to women's boxing. You're the face they know. I want that to be me." Now, looking back after everything that's unfolded, it seems pretty calculated now. Like she was waiting for the right moment, the right excuse to finally do what she'd already made up her mind to do. I mean, that's how it feels now. She told me she saw me as the face of women's boxing, and she told me that she wanted my spot. And she's been on a mission to ruin my reputation ever since, simply because she heard me make a comment that was not about her and she took it personal.
You still train?
I stay training. I just turned 40. I can't believe it either. And because I think of my healthy lifestyle, the fact that I train all the time, I can pretty much do anything I wanted to. Well, I don't think there's anyone there for me right now that would actually give me a good challenge.
So what brings you more joy, winning in the ring or winning in the kitchen?
I just like to win, period. Definitely boxing is my first love, and, cooking is something that I'm super passionate about.
Gotcha.
It'll be a part of my life forever. I'm not somebody who sits back and complains about things. I think everything happens in due time. You got Claressa Sheilds now, who's an Olympic champion. She's a young black girl, came out of Flint, Michigan, lived a hard life, went through a lot. She went to the Olympics, won twice. Women's boxing wasn't in the Olympics when I fought. She actually fights at the weight class I fought in. And she's doing great. Women's boxing is getting some good attention. Now remember, at the time, we were on good terms. She was reaching out to me and referring to me as Big Sis. But this was her response.
I watched the Breakfast Club video with Laila Ali. I have so much respect for her, and I like her. I actually call her my big sis, but it was so many shots thrown. Like, if if y'all really paid attention, you know, her saying, oh, there's not nobody good enough at 168, my weight class, that could give her a challenge when I'm the number one in my weight class. And, you know, I'm just like, you know, nah. And, you know, I just feel like, you know, she gave props where it's due, but, you know, she also spoke on how, you know, what I'm doing for women's boxing is great, but it's not great enough for her. When it's like, we got two different goals and sets in life. You know, me winning 2 Olympic gold medals is just the beginning. You know, even when she was boxing, she never fought on Showtime, HBO. I fought the main event on Showtime. I don't know how many times now. You know, fastest woman to win a world title. I did it in 4 fights. You know, and yeah, you can say, oh, the competition isn't there, and this girl wasn't that. But like I did it up in 4 fights, and so the girls that Laila Ali fought wasn't, you know, that great either. I mean, like, I'm the best female boxer that I've ever seen, and you know, if Laila Ali wants to come back, we can rumble, we can go. You know, this is not like, oh, I'm gonna step away. Like I respect her and everything, but you know, you're not gonna come back and beat me. You know what I'm saying? Like, this can happen. You know, I just don't like the disrespect. And this is my last video too about this. You know, I never used her name to try to be like, you know, try to call her out of retirement. It's basically like she talking about she come out of retirement, she just gonna beat me if she decided to.
Now, of course, I didn't respond to this, but I noted it. For someone who hardly had any experience as a professional boxer and who was supposedly looking up to me, for her to think that I would even call her name in a conversation about me fighting or making a comeback was silly to me. Especially since I had literally told her that I retired from boxing because I didn't feel inspired or challenged anymore by the level of competition that was available to me. We had that talk. So I learned a lot about her character and her mindset. She took what I said out of context and made it all about her. I decided I was no longer going to invest time or energy into her. But she, on the other hand, she took it straight to social media.
Are you watching women's boxing today?
Oh, yeah.
You like Claressa?
I do. I think that she's a talented fighter, and she has the opportunity right now. The stage is set. You know, so now she just has to kind of do her thing. I
talk about Homemade Simple, airing Saturdays, 9 a.m. on the OWN network. Okay, it's an incredible show. I had Claressa here, right? I asked her who does she think will win and you against you in your prime and her now. And this is what she said.
She's not cut like me. She don't take the challenges. Like, she didn't fight against Ann Wolf. I fight against the best and beat the best. And if Laila Ali was to come out of retirement, I beat her too.
That's not anything I haven't heard before. First of all, she's supposed to feel like she's the greatest.
Absolutely.
But just because you think you are doesn't mean you are.
Okay.
I like to support and uplift people, and I think that on your way up, just do your best not to disparage those that have come before you. First of all, she could never beat me. Okay. Let me just get that straight right now.
You want to get that straight, Laila?
Let's get that straight right now.
Okay.
And not simply because she's not strong enough, okay, because I would definitely knock her out, but because she's not talented enough to beat me. It's a sweet science to boxing. The reason why you have not been able to knock out the opponents that you've already faced, I can totally see it. Why? But maybe if you would have been a little more respectful, and I'm not talking about thinking you can beat me and call that, do all that. I'm talking about just trying to, she didn't do this, she didn't do that. Yeah. I don't respect her as a boxer. I only respect her as a businesswoman. I've heard her say that before. I was always there for her because she's a young black girl from Flint, Michigan. Yeah, Flint. And I want to help uplift her because that's the Ali way. There's always going to be another girl. But I tell you what, when I offered her to spar me, that definitely was a check right there to see. Let me see what kind of heart she has. You should come whoop me just for bragging rights. And she didn't take me up on that offer. I said, okay. She pitted herself against me in a fight. Now, I know some of this younger generation may not be familiar with me, but I've never been one to just talk about things I can't do. When I said that I would knock her out back in 2019, it wasn't any different than what I've said to anyone who's challenged me in the past. You can go back and look at tape on me. That was not just talk for me. It's what I did. TKO, KO, it didn't matter. I was going to stop you. It wasn't going to a decision. And if you didn't belong in there with me, I was going to get you out of there. That's just facts. That's not disrespect. That's boxing talk. Back then in 2020, I did get to a point where I was ready to get back in the ring and show her why, even though she is talented. I said it back then and I'm saying it now, but she could never outbox me.
But I feel like Laila Ali has always been kind of envious of me. I'm just so accomplished in women's boxing, and she never got that due diligence and that respect. So to see me getting it kind of pisses her off. So you look at who she fought. Her biggest test was freaking Vonda Ward and Christy Martin. And Christy Martin weighed in at 140 pounds, and Laila Ali was 160. Like, how are you making matches like that? So Laila Ali is a hater. That's it. Nothing but her being a hater and her being, envious of my success and what I've done for women's boxing. And she feels like she deserves that credit because everybody kind of give it to me now. And I think that she's like, but, I'm an Ali daughter and I boxed before her and I'm 24-0 with 21 knockouts. And she kind of, want people to keep acknowledging her. She's retired.
She's retired.
And
she's
been
probably
retired for a long time. 43. I hate when somebody else try to take somebody else's shine, somebody else's attention. It's like she's, nobody was trying to take her attention when it was her time. Undisputed champion. She's never been undisputed. And people are comparing me to her, and she gets offended. When it was like, to me, I thought it was a good comparison because I feel like I box way better than her. And for them to be saying that me and her are equal or whatever, she should have been happy because of that, because they're giving her more props on her skills, which I feel like she didn't really have that much. But, whatever. Yeah, we had Laila Ali. Respect. But she can't do for women's boxing what I'm doing. I'm going to be different because I'm going to give my blessing, or I'm going to let a girl take her blessing. And what that means, I'm going to fight the young girls coming up. And if they beat me, now they're the best. That's how you do it. My advice to Laila is you will look a lot better, and people will stop calling you a hater and calling you jealous and old and bitter. If you actually stop hating, bro, you will look better if you was to support the black girl from Flint who made it out the trenches to where she at now. You will look a lot better. She wants to try to make it still seem like she's somewhat relevant in women's boxing. People give her props about how she built up women's boxing, and I just don't feel the same way. What really did you do for women's boxing? Like, you let it die. You let it die for 20 years, and then I had to come and put in all this extra work to get it to where it is now. I think that wasn't fair, and I don't think that she was as big as a pioneer in women's boxing as she thinks she was. Because I would never do that. I would pass the torch.
There are hundreds and hundreds of women who have participated in the sport of boxing over the years. They have all made a contribution in their own way. We don't need to argue over who's done more. That destructive crab in a barrel mentality is exactly what we don't need in the sport. Here she is on a recent podcast explaining how she's passing the torch and that she has created a blueprint for success, which she is now sharing with other female fighters. She says that the number one thing they need to know is how to build their brand.
I actually promote a woman fighter, and I'm giving her all the jewels and stuff that I know so she can get her big paydays too. It's a blueprint now on how you make $1 million, even if you don't have the gold medals. The biggest blueprint is build your brand.
Oh, she must have forgot years ago she recorded this and said that I gave her the piece of advice that she is now referring to as the most valuable piece of information that you need to be successful. But supposedly I didn't support her and I didn't want to pass the torch.
Laila Ali told me to build my brand, a good brand, and a brand that I want to represent and stand for. And she said, have good people behind me who I trust.